What? All right. So we're 5 factions now. 2 left to go.
Yep.
We are going to talk about the Gremlins, and
Yep.
we're going to start off with Zap Rankin. Oh, I'm sorry, Zipp.
Zipp. The coolest gremlin ever. He's a sky pirate.
I know, right?
So, like, this is one of the ones that if I were to get anything in Gremlins, it'd just be a thematic Zipp crew. So we'll jump in. So Zipp is a master living.
Mm-hmm.
He's a gremlin and a sky pirate.
Mm-hmm.
He's got cash of 4, defense 6, willpower 6, 12 wounds, 8 walk. It's literally the largest walk in the game.
There's literally nowhere that I cannot be.
Especially when we combine with flight down there. He has a walk of 8 and a charge of 5. That's like the reverse of most models.
Know, right?
Height 2, so he is height 2 as far as anything affecting that.
Is he like always on? He's always on his little.
I figured to jetpack, he's always hovering off the ground. So then the two important ones. He's got flight and insignificant. So
he cannot drop ski markers.
Cannot take interact actions.
Yes.
Now this is important with a walk of 8 and flight because he can go so many places.
He would be the ultimate schemer.
Now, however, a lot of people express concern over insignificant because in the core rulebook, a lot of the schemes will have you interact to give somebody a condition, and the only way to remove it is
with
an interact. Yes. It says take an interact action to do blah blah blah. Mm-hmm. Now, in a lot of the gaining grounds, those have been replaced from interact actions to other kinds of generic actions.
So he can...
to tactical actions is what they are now. So in Gaining Grounds 2016, it's not as big of a hindrance.
Yeah, I foresee maybe like a FAQ or something like where Zipp is able to do. Or I mean, like think about like the only people that would really care is probably like the tournament players, which are just gonna be like.
Well, exactly. It's the biggest deal in a tournament.
Yeah.
And so anyway, that's one thing with the insignificant. So now we've got constant yammering. So he's the master with this. We've mentioned it because it comes up in a couple other places, but he just always has constant yammering, which is it's the new version of Chatty.
Tannen has it.
Yeah, Chatty. There's a bunch. Yeah. So 6-inch aura. If you want to take an interact action, it immediately fails unless you discard 2 cards. It is 2. Yes, 2 cards. So it makes it so even though he can't interact himself, he can make it very hard for enemies to interact near him. Either protecting a large group, running off to harass scheme runners.
Feels like he just wants to be annoying.
And then, of course, we've got his defense willpower on a mask. It's not built in to either. Blasting off again. After resolving against an enemy, place this model anywhere within 6 of its current location. So that's a placement effect within 6.
So in theory... Let's say you really need to get out of somewhere, you can just, if you're afraid of the Black Joker, spend a stone for just the mask. And even if
whether you succeed or fail, it doesn't matter. After resolving, you will get this trigger. So, like, even trying to get rid of him, like taking a pop shot, might only get him closer to where he wants to be. I'm going to take a shot.
But and it's a place too, so it's like you can't completely surround him with big models, and he can just like, okay, I'm going to place 5 inches away this way.
Right. Not to mention flight, even. So even if you did get things around him, he could try to get away with flight. So you can't pin him down. All right, so we get to his attacks. So it starts with his one-action Zipp Zapper. Shoot of 6 with a built-in mask. Resist defense. Range of projectile 8 or close to. So he's like a lot of those gunslingers. Target suffers 2, 3, 4 with a blast damage. So it's 2, 3, 4, and severe has a single blast.
Well, I feels relatively low for a master.
Right, but then it's his triggers. He has built-in Bazap. All models damaged. So if he gets the blast, he can affect multiple with one shot. All models gain the following condition till the end of their next activation. So basically, their next activation, they're stuck with this. Can't stop twitching. This model has -2 walk and cannot declare charge actions or 0 actions. So
You had to declare charges or zeros.
-2 walk, no charge, no zeros. So, I mean, imagine just managing to hit Shenlong with that.
Oh,
like, no zeros. Now, of course, Shenlong, I don't know if he can get around it with his other things that give him 0 actions, but he can't take it natively, and that is very important. So,
for Shenlong, he gets to take either a 0 act. It says he may take one of his 0 actions. So if you can, tag him with that,
still you have to do it then, and he only gets 1 instead of normally. That's how he gets multiple zeros.
And that's blast too.
So anybody that wants to charge or take zeros, that's gonna hurt. Even if they're scheme running, -2 walk, you're not getting very far now.
Yeah.
So that's always built in. On a crow, you get convulsions. After damaging, move the target up to 3 in any direction. Then the target may discard a card. If it does not, move it up to 3 in any direction. Now that is a move. So you know how sometimes there are buildings with railings, and so if somebody has a push, you hit the railing and you don't get pushed off the edge. Well, like Lure, Zaps is a move. So he could shoot a sniper off the ledge.
He's getting more annoying just by reading it.
Right, so his gun doesn't do much damage. Like, min 2, max of 4, even with a blast of 3.
Yeah.
Like, it's not usually worth focusing to get the blast unless you think you're going to bazap several models. Like, but then you're like, oh, but if I hit 1, not only am I dealing 4 to him, 3 to the others, they all get convulsion, can't stop twitching.
Yeah.
So he can be really annoying. Then he has, this is kind of like Kyrie's grab and drop.
Yeah.
He has 1 action, up we go. Melee 3, resisted by height. So, range of 2. And it is a close attack. Place the target anywhere within 5 of its current position, not in terrain. So, that's so that you can't drop them in hazardous, probably.
Oh, okay.
But not in terrain. Then the target suffers 2, 4, 5 damage that may not be reduced. So you just place the target, and it suffers damage that can't be reduced. And then on a trigger of a mask's, my work is done. I race triumphantly into the clouds.
Oh, and then he gets the.
After succeeding, take a walk action. So not only is he super fast at walking, even one of his close attacks can let him walk.
So I'm thinking of really, it's melee 3, but it's resisted by your height. So I'm thinking, one thing.
Which means even if you're height 3, you're still at an even attack to them.
I'm thinking Headhunter would really like this, because
absolutely, you get to place them into your lines and then deal damage,
and then you get to get away from them.
Potentially.
And he's does he have Reckless?
No.
No, he does not have Reckless. Okay.
And here's one thing with Up We Go. Remember, so the trigger gives him a walk action, which means the trigger could have disengaging strikes.
Yes.
So this only gets you away from enemy models if there's only one of them, because you place the enemy model and then you get away.
Yeah.
So if you're surrounded by 3 models, they might still pin you down.
Yeah. But if you place the model within 8, is it?
Your place is within 5.
Within 5.
Place it within 5, not in terrain, so you can't like throw them into the middle of that
forest.
forest.
But you can totally mess with auras and stuff like that.
Definitely, you can mess with placement. So that's a great for moving enemy models.
Or Shenlong. Like, oh, you want to give focus? Nah, I'll put you over this way.
Yeah. Oh, then there's his interesting tactical action. This is the first one I think that places 3 markers. So place up to 3, so between 1 and 3.
Oh, these are
50 millimeter noxious smoke markers.
Yeah.
In base contact with this model, not in base contact with any other models or markers, which were not placed by this action. So they have to be touching him, so they're going to be an arc around him.
Yeah.
These markers are height 5, blocking impassable, so blocking and impassable, and are removed at the end of the turn. This action may only be taken once per turn. So with his 3 AP, he could spend 1 moving forward, place the markers, move over them. He could place them at the beginning and then double move. So he could with a walk of 8, he can get these up to 3 markers pretty much
So
wherever
like
he needs
your
them.
Sonya Creeds, like
Right, Sonya's setting her thing up. You ignore cover, or they move the Watcher into position to ignore line of sight. Well, you send Zipp over, place the markers to block him. Suddenly now she has to go with normal line of sight.
let's see the downside. It's removed at the end.
At the end of turn.
Yeah.
So,
Which, hey, what do Gremlins have that's really good at making sure you win initiative?
right.
Trixie Bell!
Yep. And so, but again, it's Zipp can respond.
Yes.
Like, if she wants to use the watch. Oh, I see what you mean. If she makes sure to go first on the initiative, the Watcher could.
Zipp could probably take down the Watcher too.
Right.
Engage it. Oh god.
However you can deny it its line of sight shenanigans. So that's Noxious Smoke. The last one, he has a 0 action Grab a Rope. Casting 5, target number 10, range 6, so you need a 5. Push target other friendly model up to 8. Then the opponent may push the target up to 2. So you push them 8, the opponent pushes them 2. So they're not going to ever be in like the 100% perfect position, but that's an 8-inch push you just got.
So yeah, I mean, in theory, like you're gaining 6 inches. I mean, let's say you push your model 8 inches. Like, okay, I'm gonna push you 2 inches back.
But if it were also better for them to push it 2 more forward, you have to be careful that it doesn't get pulled too far.
Yeah.
Right, but your opponent will always, so you can never quite be in the 100% optimal, but it is still a push.
Yeah.
A push is a push.
Nifty.
Do
you want to go to those upgrades, or do you think
either way, let's just upgrades real quick.
Yeah.
I think those might interact with burns, so we'll go to those upgrades.
Pigman.
So does he have? Okay, so his limiteds are Gift of Gab and No Quarter. So Gift of Gab. This is the fully equipped. No, they both have fully equipped airship.
Okay.
So they both give you fully equipped airship. If this upgrade is attached to a master when hiring crews, for each upgrade attached to this model, the cost of one upgrade with the restriction of Sky Pirates attached to another model is reduced to 0. So, what it means is that his first mate and his Skeeter can get some of these free Sky Pirate upgrades.
They cost 0.
They will cost 0 for each upgrade that Zipp has.
Yes.
So, fully equipped airship on both of them. So there's probably one of these two.
Can I do this part?
Dramatic
monologue. Anytime an enemy model within 6 uses or discards a soul stone, it must discard a card as well. Mr. Burrows. I heard you like soul stones.
Right. And that includes so it's a 6-inch aura.
Mm-hmm.
So if Zipp's attacking somebody and they're going to try to soul stone in order to prevent the damage, so they don't get that constant convulsions, well, suddenly they have to discard a card as well in order to stone for prevention.
Let's say you have no cards in hand, then you can't use the soul stone.
No. You must discard a card if able.
But
so
you have to discard a card.
But if you don't have any cards, it's no drawback.
You could use that in theory, like for moments where, for like me and Casey, when we're playing one of our games, it's like, if I draw the black joker, I am going to hold on to that black joker for the rest of the game.
That's one thing. I mean, not to mention just
or like you're holding a high card for want this one thing.
Think a big model coming in and swinging hard.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you know that was coming, you may have saved a couple high cards for defense.
Mm-hmm.
But even with high defense, you might still need to spend soul stones to survive.
Mm-hmm.
Well, suddenly, in order to spend a soul stone, you've got to get rid of a card. Mm-hmm. And that thins out your hand for your defense on later attacks. Mm-hmm. So the whole thing, it makes this whole thing of, do I hang on to cards? Yeah, it makes it very difficult when you're stoning.
And then for Zipp laughs at your ancient curses. At the start of this model's activation, it may discard a soul stone to end all conditions on this model. Oh my god!
So it's like laugh it off, or not laugh it off. What's it called? Shake off, or the Latigos all have.
Yeah.
But except it's a soul stone, and it's all conditions instead of one.
Oh, I'm paralyzed? Oh my god! Are the any of the scheme things conditions anymore? No, I don't think they are.
Okay, no, they're conditions, but a lot of them can only be removed with certain actions.
Yeah.
So we'd have to see how it is.
Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of stuff that has conditions like mood swings.
Right.
You know, like let's say you really want to throw.
Well, mood swings might not be the best but like you said, slow, paralyzed. A lot of these really nasty things. If you try to like stack crazy amounts of burning or poison, you know, like McMorning is gonna hate this.
Yeah.
Of course, McMorning can still just triple rancid transplant and expunge the same turn.
Yeah.
That's a different story. But yeah, there's a lot of conditions that are going to be tough to make stick on Zipp.
And even some of those named conditions, like Parker Barrows, or like even some of the Tormented that we saw from.
Yeah. So a lot of those conditions. So
no quarter.
So that's again fully equipped airship.
Confusing rant. Anytime an enemy model or henchman within 6 declares a 0 action, it must discard a card if able.
So that's Masters and Henchmen. So now it's instead of Soulstone use, it's 0 actions.
Which god,
they're forced to discard.
Certain masters,
Think how you do Lynch and Sensei U.
Mm-hmm.
Like Zipp charges in there next to them, and suddenly if they want to take any of their zeros, every time they take a 0, or actually that's especially Shenlong.
Yeah,
because Shenlong will take 2 or 3 zeros in a turn, and suddenly
there's certain other masters too that would be.
Oh yeah,
Sparks would hate it because Sparks has
he takes between 1 and 2. Lilith. If she will usually have her...
Or Mauls with 0 attack actions. Yeah.
Yeah. As long as it's 0 action. And then he also gets already distracted. At the start of this model's activation, you may discard 2 cards to end all conditions on this model. So
either
it's
way,
the same thing.
Okay.
One is you spend a soul stone, and the other is you discard 2 cards.
That's interesting. So he's pretty much... He's almost not worth putting conditions on. Actually, no, he's worth putting conditions on, but
he has ways to get rid of them. Yes. So certain ones are worth it, others not so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might force him to use some resources, but you're not actually ever going to paralyze him. Because he's probably going to have one of these no matter what.
Because he's going to be very aggressive. Very, very aggressive.
Exactly. And so if he were to get hit with like a performer's paralyzed so easily, that'd be a little too much, but again, he can't take his own interact action, so he's just running around. Yeah.
Just being annoying.
Yep.
Okay, and then there's Rambling
Diatribe.
This model gains the following attack action. 0, Rambling Diatribe. Casting 5. Wow, low. Resist willpower. Range 8. Name a suit. Target model's controller must reveal their hand whole. Discard all non-joker cards of the named suit and then draw that many cards. Oh my god. And then with a crow, Gaping Confusion. After succeeding, the target gains slow. Okay.
What?
And then a mask or a tome. Give up the goods. After succeeding, place a scrap marker in base contact with the model.
With this model?
With this model.
So after Rambling Diatribe, he either gives the target slow or scrap in base contact with himself.
Okay, now I know why it's casting 5. Because if that was casting 6, that'd be really like
if it was any higher than 5.
Summoners are just
yeah. I mean, Nicoderm, discard all your crows and draw new cards.
Yeah. Nico. Asami, no masks for you. But the thing about it is okay. I see Rambling Diatribe. I'm going to save that. But then I'm spending 13.
Exactly. If you're forced to use a high card, especially if it's the right suit. Now, of course, so... but again, if you see it coming, he's hitting you with Rambling Diatribe, it's...
But if he gets it off, though, again, like, let's say for example, he does it. He flips a red joker.
Yeah, if he flips or cheats, that's going to be hard to resist.
Yeah, and then you're going to go to your opponent and just say, okay, the summoner needs masks. I'm going to declare masks. Oh, that 13 of masks?
So it's interesting. You get that 1-0 action, which competes with, what is this current 0? It competes with Grab a Rope to push your own models. It gives you a potentially powerful I'd really only use it if I was
It's
expecting
kind of
summoners, I
situational.
think.
It's kind of situational, you think?
Yeah. It's very situational, and it's competing for an upgrade slot.
It's not an auto-include, for sure.
I don't know Gremlin upgrades well enough for the Master-only ones,
there's
but...
Stilts. Oh, Stilts, but I don't think there's a Master.
no, he's height 2 already, I think.
Oh,
I don't
you have
know
to be
if
height
he...
1. Yeah, you're right, yeah.
I think that's why they didn't want him to have stilts.
Yeah, God.
Add that to his durability.
We don't know Gremlin upgrades that well.
But I know Dirty Cheater, that might be Henchman, though.
Mm-hmm. Liquid Bravery, which is another very common one.
Oh, can you heal yourself with Liquid Bravery?
I believe so, yes.
That would be interesting to keep himself alive as a annoying little tank. Alright, I almost want to go over his other Sky Pirates.
Yeah, let's go over
before
Sky
we get
Pirates,
into
and then
these
I'm
upgrades.
go and...
Because he only has 3 personal upgrades. Everything else is limited to Sky Pirates, which includes Zipp, but it also includes all of his other Sky Pirates. So, we'll get into Earl Burns. So, Earl Burns is he's a minion living totem, cost 3, defense 5, low power 5, 5 wounds, walk 4, charge 4, height 2. So, he's kind of slow, but, he's got this big chain around his ankle because he's been captured by the Gremlins.
I bust out the Gremlin upgrades. Liquid Bravery, which is stubborn. Any monster suffer -2 attack flips. -2 attack flips or attack actions are resisted by willpower.
So it gives him stubborn.
And then down the hatch until the start of enemy walls are friendly minions. Walls with an 8 gain +2 willpower.
Okay.
So I mean the negative, really the stubborn might be.
I was thinking quality mash liquor. I see.
Quality mash liquor. The model
that's the healing one.
Take a swig. Target model within 2. It's not bad. The Guardian Stone. What is models targeted by action? Soul Stone. Oh, it buffs you up based on.
Dirty Cheater. That's the one I see people use a lot. When this model cheats a flip during its activation, it heals 1 damage. Dirty Cheater could be very interesting.
No. Well, Stilts. It's Gremlin. Models increase their height by 1. Small gains a falling ability.
So he could be height 3.
Yeah.
Potentially.
This model may discard this upgrade to reduce the damage suffered from a melee attack action to 0. Which Zipp, that might be a good upgrade to consider for Zipp because
as long as you don't have somebody else for it, it is rare 1.
Yeah.
But yeah, and he is a Gremlin, so the only limit is a Gremlin.
Yeah.
So you could have Lenny wearing stilts.
Yeah, make him height 3.
Okay, so there's some interesting upgrades there that we'll see how they work. So you're on Earl. He's pretty generic stats, 5s across, except for his slow ass walk.
Charge of 4.
But that's why we have things like grab a rope.
Yeah.
To push him around. Now let's see. He's got get your hands off me. When a friendly Sky Pirate within a 1-inch aura declares a walk action, this model may be placed in base contact with the Sky Pirate after it completes its walk. So he actually gets himself placed. So like first turn, you could start Zipp next to Earl, and when he takes his walk actions, he gets moved along with him.
Whoa, wait.
It's so when a friendly Sky Pirate within 1 declares a walk action, this model may be placed in base contact after it completes its walk action.
So it can move with. Oh my God!
So basically, the Sky Pirates will grab Earl
or the Skeeters
and haul him along.
Yeah,
and it's as long as it's a walk action.
Yeah.
Used to it. He's used to it. This model is immune to burning caused by pulse effects. This model is immune to damage caused by pulse effects. So like the Iron Skeeters, when they blow up, they give out like burning 2 or 3 to people.
Oh, okay.
So
he's like,
Earl's immune to it. There's stuff blowing up next to him all the time. Then he has Squeal,
which is the normal Gremlin Squeal.
Yep. When this model is damaged by an enemy melee MI attack or ML. Attack action, push this 4 away from the attacker. So it gets to push away on with Squeal.
Oh man, that attack action.
1 action, wrench to the head. Melee 4 with both triggers built in on atomes. Versus defense, range 2. Target suffers 1/1/2 damage. Pretty standard totem attack. However, that should have worked. If the target is a friendly construct, the target heals 2 instead of suffering damage. So
okay.
So instead of suffering damage, you just blang two.
He just whack. That's that stereotypical moment where like you just whack it and it works better.
Which there's no target number,
Mm-hmm.
so and it's built in, so the enemy can always just yield and heal too.
Yeah.
So if it is friendly construct, which the Iron Skeeters are constructs, but Zipp is not.
Oh, you can do that against Chop, the mechanical pork chop.
Exactly. So mechanical pork chop could get. Now he also has dismantle for parts. After damaging an enemy construct, place a scrap marker in base contact with the target. Mm-hmm. So he gets to get scrap from enemies or heal friendlies. Tactical actions, regular maintenance. So on a 1 action, he's got cast 5, target number 10, range 6-inch aura. Discard a card. If you do, until end of turn, all friendly leaders and friendly constructs within 6-inch aura add the suit discarded to their duel totals. This action may only be taken once per turn. So he has sort of consult the field guide for friendlies in his aura.
And you can use models like Zipp to position him in the ideal position to hit.
You can drag him around.
Yeah.
Now this is important for several of the airship upgrades, and the Iron Skeeters themselves have some like mandatory triggers. You must take a trigger if able.
So it would be a good way to mitigate some of those.
You can make sure that you don't get a negative one by discarding a card for a positive. Yeah. So that's his aura, and then he has on a tomes the right parts. After succeeding, this model may discard target scrap marker within 6 to gain the following condition. Turned up to 11. Friendly leaders and constructs within 6 gain positive flip to their attack actions. So that's a 6-inch aura. You have to be close enough or drag Earl.
Oh, with a guy that walks 8? I don't think position's going to be an issue.
But notice he himself is only walk 4.
Yeah.
And he's kind of not that durable.
Yeah. So you'd have to put him in a position where he...
But Squeal does make it a little harder to pin him down.
Yeah.
Then he has a 0 action called Tasty Human. Or Tasty Human.
Oh, and the gremlins can take a bite out of him. I've heard about this one.
Yes, so casting 5, target number 10. Target friendly pig or swamp fiend. So not a gremlin. It has to be a pig or a swamp fiend. Okay. Which is the, pigs and... the first mate is a swamp fiend. Within 6 inches is placed into base contact. So all it does base is push them into base contact. Okay. With a trigger of a crow, help! Someone help me! After succeeding, this model suffers 1 and the target heals 1. That's where they take a bite out of him.
Nibble, 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 nibble.
So he can basically pull pigs and swamp fiends towards him as a 0, and potentially heal them. So there's the crazy mechanic who was kidnapped by gremlins. 3
soul stones, and he's not insignificant.
Yeah, he's not even insignificant, so he can do anything.
Yeah.
Slow, but that's why he has his thing for Sky Pirates to drag him around.
Yeah. I like him. He's a solid totem.
And he's one of those totems. He just synergizes so well.
I think he might be just well, actually, I was about to say, it's a 3-point minion, but we are talking about a faction that literally.
Not to mention, apparently, Old Cranky is an amazing totem.
Okay.
So there's a lot of things that he might bring to the table.
Oh, okay.
But Earl does synergize with Sky Pirates pretty well. I kind of looked it up.
Yeah.
Well, I think it might be book 1 for totems, but go ahead.
No, they introduced the alternative totems.